You know, you'd think that after 4 years of war, people would develop sort of a coldness or cynicism and be bitter. But honestly, some of the warmest moments I've experienced traveling was in Ukraine. And this is my 12th trip to Ukraine, and it's no exception. Before I even started my trip, an acquaintance of mine who I had only chatted with for a couple of months, let's just wait until this train passes. So we had only known each other for a couple of months, I guess. And this person offered me to drive me around the Carpathian Mountains and basically experience the mountains and get a lot of material for videos for no other reason than the fact that I help Ukraine. So not only did she invite me to this trip in her car, she also made sure I had tickets from Kyiv to Ternopil and arranged everything. Asking nothing in return. And so on this trip, we were driving through the mountains, just a road trip with no very specific plan, just to go somewhere there and go through the smallest roads out in the country. And at some point there was a sign to a monastery, a male monastery, and the sign said 7 kilometers out of this road. And we looked at the road, and it was a dirt road with big holes, like really big holes, that sometimes I jokingly say only in Ukraine, and this is really special. So we decided to try, and we walked out, we drove out this very bumpy road, and there were some signs, but at some point we asked some people, because we kind of thought that maybe we were lost, and it turned out we had passed it long ago. So we headed back, and there was a small side road up another hill, actually a very steep hill, where you'd have to keep your speed because otherwise the wheel would spin around in this dirt. So we got there and we were walking around, taking pictures, just looking at the fantastic view from the monastery and the beautiful building. And all of a sudden, out of this building, as if he had been waiting for us, came this young, I would evaluate him to be around 30 years old, this young priest. And he just started talking to us in Ukrainian. Of course, I asked if I could record it, so Later I will have everything translated and make a story about this monastery. But he told us everything about the place, and he opened the church and invited us inside and showed us all the icons. He was painting the icons for the church, and there was a lot of them. It was completely filled with icons. And so we were very interested, and we were allowed to touch them, not just look at them, because it said they had a very special surface. And so after a while, he invited us for tea, and he wanted to show us how he made the colors from the rock they find in the mountain. So they find different kinds of rocks and stones that they make the paint out of these rocks. Black, blue, green, red, you name it. And it was just very interesting. This guy was not in a hurry. He just wanted to show us everything and tell us everything he knew about it, and he knew a lot. Like, for a guy his age, he seemed like he had been studying more or less all his life. So there's the first, and I will get back to this story, but this, giving complete strangers your time and your attention is amazing. And so this visit at the monastery delayed us quite a bit. It took several hours, and it was getting too late to get a hotel room, so we drove around the mountains, and you cannot drive very fast in the mountains, and there are several dozens of kilometers between each hotel, some places. We found one, but it was closed, and then we drove on and we found another, it was also closed, and then at some point we saw a place that was just being built. It wasn't open yet, and there was a guy sitting in his car. And he looked at us, and I stopped the car. We were the only people there, and came out and we talked to him, and he said he knew the owners of one of the hotels we had passed. And so he called the owner, and he spent 10-15 minutes trying to wake him up. He kept trying, and finally he got through, and he had woken up the owner, and we got to stay at the hotel. And that's just incredible. Like, he didn't have to do that, but he was just helping some strangers. So that's amazing to me. It's not something I've seen in many places. Of course, it's not the only place where people are like this, but it's just something I've seen in Ukraine a lot.
Дивися, від стоянки парома є поняв?
А тобі треба? А ти в курсі, що я зараз доприну до себе?
So these are just some of the stories. Another thing I noticed every time you feel like you just want to use Google or some online service to find things, it's much better in Ukraine to ask people. Even though there's a language barrier, it doesn't matter. People will stop what they have going on and just focus on you until you're done, until they send you off as best they can. If they can't tell you where you have to go, they will try to help you as much as they can. But this friendliness and willingness to sacrifice time for strangers is amazing. I know there are lots of good things in people all around the world, but this kind of behavior, this openness and hospitality, friendliness, helpfulness is something I have noticed again and again and again in Ukraine. And after 12 trips, it still surprises me.